Hello, beautiful, cherished Leo Pride. June 2019, what a powerful time, what a powerful first part of the year. I'm sure you can all agree that the amount of growth and change and revelation has been more immense than we could ever have imagined. I'm sure when you set out on the journey of 2019 from the last solstice, you had a vision of how you thought the first half of this year was going to be or what this year was going to mean to you. And I think you probably ended up doing deeper learning and deeper connecting in than you ever thought you were going to have to or want to. But now that you're here, I think that we can all see that there's this big benefit to it. June is another solstice month, another time of reevaluation, of checking in, of shift, of change, of understanding our relationship to our own journey and reassessing what we want that journey to look and feel like. And that's part of how I really started to feel through June, was that we are in a big check-in point. We've now adjusted into these longer range transits. We've now adjusted, set our course into some deeper, lusher territory, and we are now in this space where we need to recalibrate a little bit, is the way I would see it. So the note that I came up with for Leos is one that I think is really important. We've talked a lot about Leos and the giving heart, the almost bleeding heart of Leos, and how that's gotten Leos into a lot of tough, heavy times, and where it's almost felt like a victim-y situation sometimes, right? We've all been there at some point or another. And how we need to understand that, like, the feelings, it is an honor to feel, rather than as a burden or something that we need to get over or something that we need to get over with so that we can enjoy the rest of our lives. This month we are tapping into, the Leo energy is tapping into that it's a superpower to feel in the way that we feel. You're going to feel it all. You're going to have emotions wash through you and in you in each day, and they are powerful, and it is magnified. When you're ruled by the sun, everything you do has a magnitude to it, has a brilliance to it, right? It's not about living small, but it doesn't mean it has to be about living destructive or in pain all the time. You know, the very thing that I think sometimes Leos want to avoid, which is these heavier emotions and these times where we feel and we grieve and we connect, or we just feel fragile or anxious or nervous about something. They are joys. They are a source of joy. They also, if we are allowing ourselves to feel all of those, we allow ourselves to feel the capacity for joy, the capacity for expansion, and the capacity for bigger and bolder life moments. So rather than thinking about that sun-based ability to feel the widest range of things, think about it as the very thing that is a joy. It's not meant to be a punishment. It's not meant to be a reflection of your value as a person or how well you are doing on your spiritual path and how far evolved you are that you don't feel sadness anymore. You just feel joyful. You know, recently I've had some experiences with people who, and they weren't Leos. We don't even have to get into it, but like, just a couple of people who they erred so far on the side of pushing themselves to be positive that they've actually, you know, hurt themselves. There's a shadow side to over positivity, and where you no longer speak the truth. You no longer let go of things that need to be let go of. You no longer give yourself the space to grieve, to change, to shift. And Leos, if you engage with this part of yourself, not to manipulate other people, not to get an upper hand, but just to let yourself feel fully. I tell you what, your ability to manifest will grow if you allow for the ability to feel fully. So that's the note for this whole solstice energy. Now, let me start shuffling the cards, because I'm not saying this month's going to be filled with pain. I'm saying that it's going to be this full ride. There are going to be 10 minutes where you sit down on the edge of your bed or whatever. Chariot. Ooh, I love that. And cry your heart out about something that maybe you didn't even realize you were still upset about from last year or something. And then, you know, you're going to let those tears come up and out of you. You're going to feel them fully. And then, you know, I guarantee you 15 minutes later, you're going to feel the elation of being alive. And it's not, and I think And this is all very personal. This is all very deep stuff. This is the stuff you do when you're shuffling around your home at the end of the day and you're making some tea or you're making some dinner, and you let these things flow through you. And it's really truly how we allow for the portal. It opens a portal in our energetic field in order to allow new stuff in. So we have some really supportive astrology for you. And of course, Leos, I have to say, when we hit the solstice, it's very powerful for Leos because we start getting into 12th house energy. The solstice opens the gateway to Cancer season, which means we are now in the energy right before Leo season starts to happen, which means that we are going deep. Which, once again, superpower, something to enjoy, something to savor, not something to just get over with until we can get to our birthday, but something to honestly savor every single second. No kidding. Gemini season, of course, is a little more playful, a little more social, a little bit more flirtatious, a little bit more chatty and conversational. We have a new moon in that sign. We have a full moon in Sagittarius, fellow fire sign, on the 17th. What do we have? 9 of Pentacles. Ooh, I am loving these cards, you guys. This is so good. Fellow fire sign of Sagittarius, your heart. Your heart's expanding and opening. You know, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. We have to crack these hearts open. Ram Dass just put up a post on Instagram recently that was talking about how we all claim that we have this really open-hearted life, but if we don't accept that sometimes we've gotten a little rigid, sometimes we've closed our hearts off a little bit more, we don't ever actually get to the point where we can open them. So there's a big process at hand for Leos. 8 of Pentacles. Man, this card has been everywhere this month. I tell you what, we are all mastering something new. There's a graduation on the collective level that's really powerful. On the individual level, there's a sense of well-being. There's a sense of crafting something that's just for you. Maybe it becomes for other people too, but it's powerfully yours. What do we have? Hanged Man and Knight of Pentacles. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have all this beautiful soft energy working with Leos this month, where it's like, oh yeah, this stuff is good. 2 of Swords, the World. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I will tell you why as we work through these cards. So we have that full moon in Sagittarius cracking open our hearts, cracking open our potential, expanding that potential for heart growth. Huge, huge. And then, of course, the solstice, the shift in season, the shift in light, brings about this 12th house spiritual energy. And along with that, a few days later, Mercury goes into Leo on the 27th. 3 of Swords. Woo! Okay, we got to pull one more card for that. Ace of Cups. Whoa. Okay. So there's some, don't let that 3 of Swords get you down. It's really the only card that's got complex connotations. All the other ones are deep, profound, but they are... Okay, I'm just going to address this right now, actually, because even though it's the end of the reading, the last 3 cards, we need to talk about this. Look at what's going on here. The World, the 3 of Swords, and Ace of Cups. I think you can see that graduation energy happening here. Now, this is culmination, cumulative, closeout energy. And I don't know that this necessarily has to do with something that's happening in June. This 3 of Swords especially, right? This whole conversation is happening in June, but this 3 of Swords to me is something that the Leo as a collective has been working on understanding and releasing for several years. A lot of Leos have been really diving deep into this territory since about 2015. So it's been a pretty big process, really healing this part of the process. But here's what's going on. The 3 of Swords is in between the World, the Alpha Omega card, the end of a long journey, the closeout of a long journey, and the beginning of a completely brand new landscape. And in between the World and the Ace of Cups, emotional renewal, the fullest of hearts exists in the Ace of Cups. It is you being that full vessel, because you do know that when you go home and when you have a moment for yourself, you feel it all, and you have no shame in that, and you feel empowered by your own beingness. Whatever this 3 of Swords was in your past, Whether it was writing yourself into a subservient position in relationships constantly, choosing people who are unavailable, or feeling like, there were always somebody challenging you in like kind of a harsh and heavy way. You're graduating from it. You're saying goodbye 100% to what that was for you. Now, here's the thing. There can come with that an almost sense of homesickness or disorientation, because you are going to be in a new landscape where the compass you had that was a little wonky, to be honest, is no longer useful. You have a whole new tool set. You have a whole new landscape to take in, so take your time, because this is big. This is big. And when you have the Three of Swords sandwiched the way that it is between these two renewal cards, these two powerful healing, renewal, hope, new beginnings energies, when you have this working with you, you are integrating at a deep level. You are opening and flowering at a very deep level, and there's no need to rush into it. You're going to want to take your time and savor every second of it. You're being invited to live the good life when it comes to relationships and to lifestyle. You are being invited to just go there. The Chariot was our first card out, actually, before we got sidetracked by all that powerful healing energy. And the Chariot is a commitment card, a visionary card. It is associated with the moon and with Cancer season, which we are heading into this month on the solstice. And honestly, I do feel that for Leo specifically, this particular solstice is a rebirth. It is a symbolic rebirth, and what you are being born back into is this Chariot quality of balance, harmony, love, commitment, shared vision, focus, and path. The only reason this exists is because of all of those moments you put into showing up fully for yourself in this process. And it is a moment to give yourself absolute props for all the work you've done, but it's also an exciting invitation to the types of energy and people that you will find coming into your fold. Everything is about being gentle and loving and nurturing for you this month. When you look at the next 4 cards, I don't know if I've seen more nurturing, soft, kind energy in a Leo reading for a while this much in a row. And we'll talk through this, but man, the 9 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles, this is like waking up in a really comfortable bed and just like being like, oh, the sun is rising and your favorite tea is there ready to go, and you have a sip of it. And you feel such clarity on what you want to create. And whether that's art, dance, music, books, great meeting, networking, you just know what it is. And it's one of those days where it just flows through you. Like you don't have to convince yourself, you don't have to bribe yourself into getting some productivity done. You just kind of go. That's what these 2 cards are like. This is the mode you're supposed to be in. There's no drama. There isn't going to be lots of big upsets. There's not even going to be a lot of ostentatious displays of what you got going on necessarily this month, because there is contentedness. This is unseen contentedness in what you have around you and the work that you're doing. This is very supportive energy for you to fully develop that person. People that walk into a room, people always want to be the person. When you walk into the room, everybody's head turns and they want to talk to that person. They want to be around that person. But the secret with those people is that the majority of the time when they aren't in a room and they're not schmoozing and they're not on display, they spend most of their time contented with what they're working on and contented with their own space, and often are just quietly living within the calm of the moments. That's why they're magnetic. That's why people are like, oh my God, why does that person glow? Why does that person have that light in them? And they all want to know, like, how do we get that? How do we get this performative quality, right? Which Leos naturally have. But you get it in this space right here. Not in fighting it, not in avoiding it, not in saying, okay, I'm going to put up with this calm gentleness until I can finally be, the until I can finally be performative. That's not the goal anymore for Leos, and that I think is a really interesting shift. The goal for the Leo pride is much more of this qualitative, beautiful thing. So yes, there is the Hanged Man. Yes, this is going to be a time of deep integration, deep spiritual knowing, deep spiritual calling, you almost feeling like you are getting your instructions for how to move through the world next via that divine source, a very conscious connection between you and it. Your abundance is coming through the quiet. Your abundance is coming through the calm. And you don't have to have your hand in every pie and controlling the whole situation. This is a great time to really release control of anything you feel you need to release control of. Admittedly, there is a character in here, the Knight of Pentacles. So if you're dealing with somebody like this, or you're feeling that the world is moving in this way, Knight of Pentacles is a slow mover, admittedly. You know, Knight of Pentacles does not take risks or sudden off-the-cuff movement. He tends to be a little more cautious, a little bit more reserved. Because the upside to the Knight of Pentacles is he's going to do things very well. He's not going to want to just set fire to things and find out later if it works out or not. He wants to really listen to the ground, to the scent on the wind, to the timing of something, and honor that process. Because whatever he offers up is of value. The shadow side of the Knight of Pentacles is, yes, being too scared to make changes, right? So holding too much onto the past, holding too much onto that safety net. Now, I don't really see that being the case in this scenario because there's so much peace and there's also that graduating from the past pain element going on that the Knight of Pentacles can't really overturn that. However, be aware that the Knight of Pentacles is working through and with you and around you. This is a type of quality of energy that is coming up for the Leo pride, and it is different from the inflammatory energy of more fierier air energies, right, which are a lot more about the busyness and a little bit more gossipy, a little bit more, devil may care, which is great too, but Leos are craving a deeper sense of craft, in crafting their relationships and crafting their spaces and crafting the work that they do in the world. And therefore, the types of energy and the way that you're moving through the world look different than they did in 2015, 2016, even earlier in 2019. And here's the deal, you guys. You are shape-shifting. You're morphing big time. In June. It's already been happening over the last couple of months, but there's an element of mystery to it, and yes, the Two of Swords is in our conversation today. And here's the deal. Don't worry about what that shape-shifting is going to look like for you. You are not ready for the information that comes after this month. Not because it's scary, not because it's bad, because the timing is impeccable. So the Two of Swords is kind of this sense of you have your weapons, you're getting equipped, you're morphing, you're changing, you're reassessing, you're checking in, you're getting prepared, but it's not quite time for you to use all that equipped energy to move yet. Dive into the mystery. You are being asked to dive into the mystery. And that's where, when I wrote that note about the privilege of feeling through everything, I really meant it. It is time to release anything, any old patterning, any old people, any old fantasies that aren't serving you anymore. It's time to release them. Another thing I didn't mention, but on the solstice, Neptune goes retrograde, and that happens for about half the year every single year. But when Neptune goes retrograde, that half of the year is a great time for any of those fantasies that you're kind of holding you as a prisoner, quite honestly, fall away. And we are able to see clearly where we want to go next. The fog lifts a little bit, and we're able to free ourselves from any old patterning, any old fantasies that we had constructed that weren't very real and that didn't actually bring us joy in life. And so it's a really great time. But yeah, I mean, the thing with this kind of contented energy and the thing with being really in the moment and letting your emotions work through you and letting yourself giving yourself the privilege of loving yourself enough to sit and witness your own emotional becoming and shifting, is that it is quiet and it is mysterious, and you don't really crave 10 steps ahead the way that you do when you're in a little bit more of these other modalities, these fiery modalities. And so it's something to get used to, but I think you are going to enjoy it so much. And the people and the situations that start to come into your life, you're going to notice they have a nurturing quality to them. They have your best interest at heart. Whereas before you might have had everybody else's best interest at heart, you might have wanted to write other people into this perfect version of themselves, and you wanted to believe in them so badly. You don't have to do that legwork in these new scenarios. I have a solstice toast for my Leo brothers and sisters out there in the world. I'm so grateful to be a part of this pride. So grateful to be a Leo in this lifetime. We have a big learning curve. We have to do things a little bit differently than some people, and that's a good thing. But here's the toast for this beautiful solstice, for this becoming, for this transformation, for this graduation. May each level of emotion bring you greater joy. May each tear you shed be met with an even greater abundance of love, connection, support, and happiness. I'm going to cry. May that wild heart of yours glow and fill the room the way it was designed to do. May the healing and the opening bring you everything you want. May you let yourself have it. Cheers, my loves. I love you so much, and I'm so proud of this group for the learning and the authenticity and the admitting when we've made mistakes or fallen down, and how we have continued to grow as a group. And I think our energy is so valuable in this time. I'm sending you guys so much love. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. If you're interested in booking a session with me or working with me or want to know more about me, you can find my email and my website in the description box. I would also highly recommend, if you're new here or if you haven't hopped over yet, the Magical Mid-Year Intuitive Guide is still up. It's for the next few months. We have these big outer planet retrogrades, and it's a really beautiful time to check in with what you want to get out of the next few months, what you want to get out of this transformative time. So I'd highly recommend that. It's ready to download. They're over on Vimeo, and you can download and keep them forever once you get it. So highly recommend that. I'm wearing, of course, PinkLune, this crown. I'm kind of obsessed with it, you guys. I don't really ever want it to go away, but it's Tiger's Iron Quartz. There's only one of them. I'm obsessed. But she's got that up in her shop. Oh, what else? I think that's it. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate it. It helps me out so much for you to do that. And I hope that you stick around for more moon magics, for more excitement. Next month, we're going to start getting into the real Leo energy. We're going to go into some really sublime, deep, powerful energies. This is going to be, the next few months are going to be amplified a lot for the Leos. So starting in June, starting with this month with all this power energy, you're going to be noticing there's a huge shift in the way you're experiencing the world. It's really good. It's a lot. Take it in, take a breath, let your energy system reset. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you very soon.